This next question is really for all three of you. Can you tell us why this levy is important to Xenia?
Well, our safety, and the slogan for this issue, I believe, is Keep Xenia Safe. We can only provide our fire and police and EMS services with individuals. And I think that the voters need to understand that when we are operating and approaching about 90% of our expenses are employees, we have no other places to cut. We still have to maintain our doors being opened and keeping the electric on and fuel in the vehicles. But what hasn't been disseminated today is that even our capital needs are not being met in 2010. We have no capital dollars. We should have been scheduled to replace some rolling stock this year of apparatus. We have no ability to do that. So we've pushed that envelope to where it's down to people. And the only places that we can cut now would be on folks in police and fire. And why is that? And Mr. Percival spoke on that, is that the city of Xenia's fire and EMS and police services equate to over 50% of our overall operating expenses are to provide those necessary services. And so that's where we will be cutting, not in a threat, but it's the only place that we can cut to balance our budget.
To piggyback on what Chief Leeming said, we've been making cuts since 2001. We started looking at the problems that were coming, that kind of peaked in the 2003 recession, where we lost the 3 officers, and we started making cuts up to that point. Everybody had hoped that we'd see a recovery after that. Unfortunately, Xenia did not. And so we've continued to make those cuts. Back in the early 90s, we used to have a 10-car fleet, and we replaced half of that fleet every year. We'd buy 5 cruisers every year, and they stayed under warranty, and we did that. As things got tighter, we went to 3 cars every 4 years, and then we went to 4 cars every 3 years, and then we went to 3 cars every 4 years, which is where we've been for the last few years. So we have a 12-car fleet, but we're only replacing 3 of those each year. 2010, we don't have the money to replace cars at all. So Jeff talks about rolling stock, that's our rolling stock. And we have to have cars that we can make emergency responses in, that we can make traffic stops in, and you can't have a vehicle that has 120,000 miles on it and is completely broken down and making those kinds of emergency responses. We've arranged our rolling stock to try and get by through 2010, but if that continues, it's going to affect our ability to respond. If you look at our other expenses, we have cut those to the bones. We have cut our training back the last 2 years significantly. We can do that for the short term. We have a department that is blessed to be very well trained, and you can do that for a couple years. But what happens is after a couple years you start doing that, your ability to respond and your ability to handle incidents starts deteriorating. We aren't to that point yet, but that's going to come very quickly if we aren't able to restore those cuts.
The critical thing to remember is that we believe, I think both of these gentlemen, and I think everybody that works for the city believes, that we provide a quality service to our community. I would match our police department, our fire department, against any police or fire department in the area, probably in the state of Ohio. As Chief Person said, these individuals are highly trained, they're professional individuals. Each one of the firefighters that you see is also a fully certified paramedic. These individuals work hard and they provide a quality service to the community. But we cannot continue to provide the same level of service with the revenues that we have today. The other thing is, and this is something that we heard extremely clear through the completion of the Wright State Survey, is that we need to improve our streets. And this will allow us to do that. Without this additional revenue, we will not have the ability to make any significant improvements to the streets for as far as a resurfacing program goes. The other thing is that as we continue to work on economic development, as we continue to work on bringing new opportunities and new jobs to the community, people look at the overall community and what services you provide when they consider locating their business, when they consider locating their store in your community. So the better image, the better image we can portray, the more ability we will have to attract new and better opportunities to our community. So it's critical from many different standpoints. It's critical from the standpoint of we're going to have fewer bodies on the streets, and we are not going to provide the same level of safety and the same level of police and fire service that you have today if this doesn't pass. But we are also going to have many improvements and things that make the community better if it does pass. So it's a positive rather than a negative.
So if I'm a voter and I need more information, can I call you or the city?
Feel free to call my office, 937-376-7231. Call the finance office, 937-376-7236. Call either one of these gentlemen. Go to the city's website, www.ci.xenia.oh.us. There's tremendous amounts of information there. You will continue to receive information in your next utility bill that outlines some of the needs for the levy. But feel free to call City Hall, call the police department, the fire department, the finance department. Talk to the city workers as you see them on the streets. I think everybody knows that this is critical for the continued ability for us to provide the quality services that we're providing today.
Any final remarks?
I think we need to clearly understand that even with the reduction of potential staffing, which we have discussed today, is our insurance service office rating could change, and that can dramatically affect insurance rates not only for residential occupancies but also commercial. So we currently are at a ISO 3, and it will have an impact with a reduction in staffing. Not only that, but if we are forced to close Station 2, our response times will be increased greatly. Having all of our responders coming from one location, and as Chief Person indicated, the road mileage is what we are working against as far as maintaining a response time of under that magical 6 minutes, and we currently can do that out of the 2 fire stations. That will not be the case if this does not pass.
I've been a resident of Greene County all my life. I've lived in Xenia since I was 5 years old, went to Xenia schools, graduated there. I raised my family here, 2 boys, and I'm a citizen of this community, and if this tax increase passes, it's going to affect me also. I'll have to pay the additional tax. Been with the police department for 33 years, and for the last 18 of those 33 years, I've been involved in handling the budget and watching how the money is spent and those types of things. I can tell you that this is the worst financial crisis the city has faced in my career here with the police department. And we are sincere when we tell you that the need is great.
The city, as we've discussed earlier, we have made adjustments, we have made cuts, but one of the things that we have tried to do through all these cuts is continue to provide a quality service to all of the individuals within our community. This city has a history of pulling together and working together when times get tough. Like Randy said, I was not here in 1974, but I've been here since 1985. We have worked together to deal with crisis on many different levels. But we have always, as a community, pulled together and said, we are going to make sure that our folks are taken care of, that our citizens are taken care of, regardless of what we have to do. This issue is just one more step along that journey. It's a critical issue for us to be able to continue to provide safety services, to continue to be able to provide police, EMS, and fire services. But it's a positive because are going to enhance, we're going to move this community forward, we're going to continue to work to bring new opportunities to the community, but we need your help. Thank you.
And thank you for being here today to answer the frequently asked questions. This concludes our presentation on responses to frequently asked questions regarding the upcoming May 4th ballot initiative. If you have a question that was not addressed today, please email us at jpercival@ci.xenia.oh.us or mbazelak@ci.xenia.oh.us or give us a call at 376-7232. Thank you for watching, and please vote on May 4th.